is it's time to start to ask a question, which you couldn't ask at all last year because everybody would say, oh my God, you're racist for asking this question. Is it a fair question to ask whether the NFL has now caught up to Lamar Jackson? Right now, in his last 10 games, Lamar Jackson is 6-4, losses to the Titans, losses to a beatdown from the Chiefs, loss to the Steelers, loss to now the Patriots. If you compare the way the Patriot defense was able to play against Lamar Jackson this year compared to last year, it definitely feels like the NFL has caught up to what the Ravens were doing last year. Greg Roman's offensive schemes, much like with Colin Kaepernick, when he came into the league, Colin Kaepernick was unstoppable. Remember that a guy like Ron Jaworski said that he thought Colin Kaepernick could be the best quarterback in the history of the NFL. And then Colin Kaepernick falls off as it becomes clear that NFL defenses can find out how to guard him and defend him. And as a result, he ends up getting beaten out by Blaine Gabbert, begins the whole kneeling process. I don't know where things are going to go from here for Lamar Jackson. I feel like the Ravens will be a playoff team, but that things are not going as swimmingly well as you would have anticipated for Lamar this year. He's questioning the fact that teams know what plays they are going to run. There are substantial issues with injuries on the offensive side of the ball. You now have Lamar Jackson being forced to throw the ball much more than he was last year. And the result is, I actually think what we are seeing this year is Kyler Murray is a superior version of Lamar Jackson. And if anything, Kyler Murray is actually being underhyped, maybe because he plays in Arizona, maybe because he's playing with Cliff Kingsbury. East Coast always gets more hype, it seems, than West Coast. But Kyler Murray seems to me to be everything that Lamar Jackson is when it comes to running the football, with the ability to make every throw under the sun, including the Hail Mary touchdown pass for DeAndre Hopkins. So if you had to make a choice right now, we were talking about this on the radio this morning. I know Lamar Jackson is the defending MVP, but wouldn't, if you had to choose between second-year quarterback Kyler Murray or third-year quarterback Lamar Jackson, wouldn't everybody take Kyler Murray over the next 5 years based on the trajectory? And by the way, everybody would take Patrick Mahomes because he's the best quarterback in the NFL. But I do think it's interesting to see the hype machine for Lamar Jackson last year, and we haven't seen the same level of hype machine for Kyler Murray, at least so far, even though he's playing in a very difficult division, even though he had an iconic and legendary performance at the end of the game against the Bills to get the victory, and even though his team is now tied in the wins and losses column in the NFC West with Russell Wilson and with Jared Goff, with the Seahawks and with the Rams.